Assalamualaikum. Hope you are enjoying good health. And again with another lecture. So, my today's lecture is basically the half part, the first part, and you will get the next portion of this lecture in the next video. And today's topic is about digestive system in human, in which we discuss different organs and their functions. So let's move ahead and see how the digestive system works in the human being. Digestion in human. The word digestion means to break down the complex food into simpler substance. The digestion means the complex food which we eat is broken down into simpler substance, and this process occurs in our oral cavity. And what is the oral cavity? Oral cavity is the space which is present behind the mouth. And here the digestion starts. Oral cavity is a place, the first place where the digestion of the food starts. Okay, now what happens in the oral cavity? In the oral cavity, the selection of food take place. The selection of food means we smell the food, we taste the food, and we detect the hard object which we rejected, and the taste and smell also helps in the selection of the food. Either we eat the food is good or not. This is basically the purpose of smelling and tasting the food. If it smells wrong or bad or taste bad, then we also reject the food. The second step is chewing, and the chewing is done by the teeth, the grinding of the food. And the other one is lubrication and chemical digestion. Lubrication and chemical digestion also take place in the oral cavity. Now, after that, the salivary glands, which is present under the tongue and behind the jaws and in front of the ear, they release saliva, and the saliva adds water and salivary enzyme, and these two things helps in the semi digestion of starch. Means the enzyme, salivary enzyme, helps in the digestion of the starch content in our food. And at the end, the bolus form, which is basically a spherical mass, slippery spherical mass, is present in our oral cavity. And all these events takes place in our oral cavity, and the content which digests first is the starch content, and it's digested by the salivary enzyme. The spherical slippery mass, which we call bolus, now move towards the esophagus. Here the food enters, and from the esophagus it moves towards the stomach. Now what is the stomach? It is a dilated J-shaped organ present on the left side of abdomen and beneath the diaphragm. The shape is J-shaped, dilated, and location of the organ is left side of the abdomen and beneath the diaphragm. Now come toward the stomach part. The stomach has portions. The one is the pyloric and the other one is the cardiac portion. The pyloric portion is basically it present below the cardiac portion, and the cardiac portion is basically located after the esophagus. The point where esophagus end and your stomach attached is the cardiac portion, and the point where the stomach ends and the next part your intestine starts is pyloric portion. The first comes cardiac, the other one is pyloric. Okay, stomach has stomach sphincter. You can also understand the word sphincter as a gateway, a gate-like structure. One, and the name is pyloric sphincter and cardiac sphincter. The pyloric sphincter is present between the stomach and the small intestine. Means at the lower part of the stomach it is present pyloric sphincter, And the cardiac portion is present between the stomach and the esophagus, the upper part of the stomach. Cardiac sphincters present at the upper part where the stomach and the esophagus attach. The point where the upper portion of stomach attached with the esophagus is the cardiac sphincter, and the lower ones where stomach ends and intestine start, pyloric sphincter is present. And the easy way to explain the word sphincter is the gate. A gate which opens or which closes whenever food enters and release the stomach. Well, thank you so much. It's a brief one, and the remaining will be discussed in the next lecture, the diagram as well. So, thank you so much, guys. Allah Hafiz.